You're watching News 3, the Southern Illinois news leader, live from WSIL TV in high definition. News 3 starts right now.
The new year means new laws in the state of Illinois. Plus, authorities warn to drive sober tomorrow night. But first, what neighbors plan to work on after 2018 comes to a close. Good evening. After tonight, there's only one day left in the year, and to many, it feels like it flew by just as fast as the last one, which means it's possible you didn't get to the things you promised yourself 1 year ago. News 3 went out to see how people in Southern Illinois plan to better themselves in 2019. It seems most people want to hit the gym a little more, but others have some unique plans, like learning to knit or simply thinking more positive.
I want to stop looking at my downfalls as losses and take them as gains and really just like become more positive and get better outcomes.
I don't really have a resolution yet. I haven't thought about it yet. Maybe go to the gym. That's what everybody wants to do. Go to the gym, of course.
I plan on being a little more stricter on my diet. Although I'm pretty good at what I eat. I do a lot of sugar-free stuff, so I'm pretty good at that. I just want to be a little more stricter and pick the right numbers.
We also spoke with folks about how they plan on spending their time tomorrow evening.
My plans for New Year's Eve, I'm going to work all day, and then I'm going to settle in for some hot cocoa and a little bit of dancing, and start the day over the same way the next.
We're spending New Year's Eve with our 90-year-old neighbor who's a World War II veteran. We're hanging out with him, having popcorn and drinking beer and chilling. So that's what we're doing, and I think it's a fantastic.
If you plan on celebrating tomorrow night, make sure to drive sober. Illinois State Police say they're joining with the Illinois Department of Transportation and nearly 200 local law enforcement agencies to have patrols and keep roads safe. IDA officials say 6 people died on Illinois roads last New Year's, and 4 of those were alcohol related. ISP also says officers will have zero tolerance for speeding, people not wearing seatbelts, and distracted driving. Now with our first look on weather, here's John.
Well, it was somewhat warm today.
All right, thanks, John. In Illinois politics, with 2019 just days away, hundreds of new laws are set to take effect in the state. News 3's Andrew Feather shows us some of the most important new laws on the books.
When we ring in the new year,
in Missouri, the new year will mean a higher minimum wage for thousands of low-income workers. New rate requirements will take effect in 20 states, including Missouri. Currently, minimum wage for the state is set at $7.85. On Tuesday, it will jump 75 cents to $8.60 an hour. The increase is a result of voter-approved ballot initiatives. The wage increases come amid a multi-year push by unions and liberal groups to raise the minimum wage nationwide. And a new study finds that Missouri is one of the worst states in using tobacco settlement proceeds to prevent smoking. The Kansas City Star reports that Missouri put around $48,000 toward tobacco prevention programs, even though it received $259 million in tobacco taxes. Another report by the American Heart Association shows that the state's spending amounts to just a fraction of the $72.8 million the CDC recommends. In national politics, the government shutdown is now in its 9th day with no end in sight. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham met with the president for lunch today and hinted that both sides can come to an agreement. Here's Linda Lopez with the latest. Still to come on News 3, a 22-year-old was attacked and killed by a lion at a North Carolina animal center where the victim was recently hired. Plus, more on the Missouri man who allegedly killed his girlfriend, her 2 children, and her mother. Those stories and more when we come back. Now to North Carolina and tragedy at a conservation center dedicated to the care of wild animals. A lion somehow escaped a locked area, fatally attacking one of its keepers. Authorities are now revealing that the worker was a young intern, just a few weeks on the job. ABC's Zachary Quiche has the details.
tonight.
To more stories making news now. A St. Charles, Missouri man is facing 15 charges for allegedly killing his girlfriend, her 2 children, and their grandmother. The 61-year-old grandmother, 39-year-old mother, and her 10-year-old son and 8-year-old daughter were shot inside their home. St. Charles County prosecutors applied 15 charges, including murder, assault, and armed criminal action to Richard Emery. Neighbors have placed a teddy bear, flowers, and candles outside the home.
The Christmas lights were still up on the house. I mean, it was really a sad situation. But like I said, it was a shock because we didn't really know what was going on.
The prosecutor also applied a charge of attempted robbery. Police say Emery tried to carjack a woman and stabbed her 7 times. That woman's injuries are not life-threatening. And Florida reports of gunfire at a shopping mall turned out to be false, but 18 people were still hurt. The Orange County Sheriff's Office says a man and a woman started fighting. Then some chairs got knocked over and people mistook the loud noise for gunshots. The fear spread like wildfire. Authorities say the response wasn't surprising, but they have a few tips for similar chaotic situations.
Don't overly panic, but at the same time, seek shelter if you feel that you're endangered and there's a threat, and listen to law enforcement when they arrive on scene.
The 2 involved in the fight were charged with disorderly conduct and battery. Investigators say it's unclear right now if they knew each other or what they were fighting about. Well, coming up on News 3, rain has made its way to the region, but how much should we expect? John has your full forecast coming up after the break.
Into Thursday, Brooke.
So if you're going out tomorrow night all dressed up for New Year's Eve, you might want to bring an umbrella just in case to stay dry.
You might want to. I think for the most part our rain should be over by the time you get to the dinner hour on New Year's Day, or New Year's Eve I should say, but there's a chance we could see a few light showers in there as well. So it wouldn't be a good idea. Throw it in the car wherever you're going.
Perfect. Thank you, John.
No problem.
Well, News 3 this morning comes your way tomorrow at 5. Evie Allen has a look at what you can expect.
New Year's celebration will be kicking off, and that means a busy time of year for pizza joints. We'll take a look at a few from around the region in our restaurant report card. Catch us dark and early from 5 to 7 on News 3 this morning.
We'll have more stories on News 3 right after the break. Stay with us. On tonight's Consumer Watch, a warning to those who received hoverboards this holiday season. A Florida family says their house was destroyed by a fire that started with the electronic device. The fire chief says it's hard to know for sure if the hoverboard started the fire, but it was close to a mattress that was still burning when they arrived. All that was left of the hoverboard was a single wheel. The family tried to put out the fire on their own with a hose before crews arrived, but the fire chief says that if this ever happens to you, you should get out of the house immediately. Traditional retailers are trying new tricks in an effort to keep up with Amazon. Some of them are offering customers an option to buy items online, but then pick them up at a physical store. According to Adobe Analytics, those orders have increased 47% since early November. The advantage for consumers is they don't have to pay for shipping or wait several days for their items to arrive. And retailers don't have to pay shipping fees that often eat into their profit margins. Well, major playoff implications on the line as we reach the final week of the NFL regular season. Sean's in next with a recap of this afternoon's Bears-Vikings game. All right, thank you, Sean. And before we go, let's get one last check on weather.
All right, well, we've got rain moving in out of the south right now. This is all ahead of the 3 and your dinner time. That's when your rain chances disappear.
All right, thanks again, John. And thanks for joining us this weekend. News 3 this morning gets your week started tomorrow morning at 5. Have a great night.